M101, Supernova, Vauxhall Nova.
This is how I tend to make YouTube videos. I basically use a mobile phone to do most of my video recording. I do have a couple of cheap and cheerful little action cameras which were just from Amazon, and I use those as well occasionally. They're really good because I'm not worried if I drop them. They're only sort of 30 or 40 quid, but they do a reasonable job. My scope is currently set up. It's been imaging for the last 3 nights. Here it is in the garden. I'm not going to be imaging tonight. What I'm going to try and do is image Venus. So I'll be taking the scope off, but I want this mount to be perfectly polar aligned, so I'll leave the mount where it is. And Venus should appear where that gap is in those trees just over there. I've also not been cutting the grass in the garden, so if you look over here, we've got very long grass at the moment and loads of wildflowers, and that's because we're currently coming up to the end of May, and I've been doing what's called no mow May, where basically you don't mow your lawn, and it allows the bees to use this time before all of the main nectar flow comes to basically have some food. I've got this idea that I will do some nice footage of some insects and things. Now, I think that will go well with an acoustic guitar and some music, so I'm now going to go and record a couple of bits with my acoustic guitar. Welcome to the recording space. I'm now just setting up to record a little bit of guitar. So I just have a microphone and a sound desk down there, and again, most of my videos are done with just a very cheap little stand like this. So I'm now going to record a couple of pieces of guitar, and that will be the introduction to the YouTube video. Okay, what I have here are 4 different takes of the same guitar piece, and on their own they sound really bland. So basically, if I just press play, it will sound a bit like this. And of course that has the click track on as well. So it's basically just 4 guitars, really very dull. But as soon as you pan these, so if I make one fully left and then one fully right, and then the next one fully left, and then the next one fully right, and then turn off the metronome, it sounds a bit like this. Now what I think this also needs is some kind of choir sound going along in the background, so some kind of really simple choir sound, and that will be the intro music to the YouTube video. So I'll come back when I have recorded a choir sound from the keyboard, which is just over there. This was on offer, and it was a customer return because they didn't want to collimate scopes. It was significantly cheaper, and I thought it's too good an opportunity to lose. It is a 1370mm focal length Ritchie-Chrétien or RC telescope. I hope I've said that correctly. This particular telescope is made by GSO, and it's just rebranded, so this is the First Light Optics brand, the Stellar Lyra. I opted to have the additional dovetail on the top because when you're putting a scope like this on, it's really difficult to carry it, so that's very useful. And also, because it's f9, it's capable of doing deep sky objects, so it's possible to do galaxies and small nebula with this particular telescope, which is great. And therefore that will be where a guide camera will be mounted. It is also possible to use a reducer with this particular telescope. However, I particularly want to use this for small galaxies, therefore I probably won't be using a reducer with it. It's very similar to my classical Cassegrain. It's made by the same people, GSO, and the classical Cassegrain is f12, so it's not particularly brilliant for using with deep sky objects. It's better for planets and for lunar, whereas this is definitely going to be used for deep sky imaging. It has a 6-inch aperture, and I don't know if you can see it, but it's got baffles all the way down. This one just there, going all the way down, which stops light reflecting inside the telescope. Unfortunately, it's really cloudy. Venus came out again, and I managed to get a really tiny short video of Venus. I was hoping to use a Barlow lens, but I wasn't able to get it set up in time. In other news, these are two images which I have taken this year. This one here is of M101, and this one here is of also M101. And this one was taken with a 200 PDS, and this one with the 130 PDS. And you can see that this one, which was taken earlier in the year, does not have the supernova, which is just there. Let's zoom in on the supernova. That is a supernova which has gone off in M101. And it's so bright. It's unbelievably bright. It's really good to see. Now, this one with the 130 PDS was taken about 3 days ago. And yeah, I'm really pleased to be able to capture a supernova, which this one, which was taken, I think, in the early part of this year, does not show the supernova at all. It's not there. I find that fascinating, and it's really interesting to see the supernova, which is quite clearly visible in this image. I also imaged the Iris Nebula with the 130 PDS. I managed to get about 3 hours on this, and you don't want to see me. And basically, I think it looks really good. It's not too bad at all. I used a UV IR cut filter and the 130 PDS, and the camera for this was the SV Bony 405cc. I think it did pretty well, considering there was literally only about 3 hours of data here. I would like to revisit this, and I think there's great potential here. I didn't realise I would be able to image what is a dark nebula from where I live. So that's really good. Thanks ever so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. This one was just a bit of fun. There's not an awful lot of darkness at the moment. We tend to just stay in kind of twilight, nautical twilight. There's no astronomical darkness as such. Hope you enjoyed the video. Take care, everybody.